So, in these three dreams or visions, there seems to be a definite correspondence. The scope of the first audience is significant. 1, a Gentile emperor. Number 2 and 3, an expatriate Hebrew. The meanings explained as befits the claim of divine revelation, and the narrative of the vision lays out certain facts on the table that are important to our understanding what's being predicted in this text. First, the prediction requires that the kingdom of Messiah follows the kingdoms of the Gentiles. I mean, its establishment awaits the destruction of those kingdoms. Did you notice how this is dramatically portrayed? Second, the kingdom of the Most High succeeds the final form of the last empire, the Roman Empire. 3, the Messianic kingdom follows the appearance of and the destruction of the Antichrist. 4, the Messianic kingdom is characterized by power and glory, not suffering. 5, the Messianic kingdom is in some sense Jewish. Well, next, let's take a look at chapter 9. The first thing that grabs my attention is the date line. It's 538, the first year of Darius the Mede. Whoa, what happened to the Babylonian kings? Times are a-changin'. Let me pause for a sidebar here. I agree that the identity of Darius is an issue. All things considered, I'm comfortable that D.J. Wiseman has offered sufficient support to plausibly argue that Darius the Mede is the same person who took on the title Cyrus the Great when he annexed Babylonia to his empire. The next thing that grabs my attention is Daniel's possession of, or at least an awareness of, a written text of Jeremiah. I mean, Dan regards this as the word of Yahweh. And so, set against the date line, what is it in Jeremiah that's piqued Daniel's interest? Right, the duration of the exile, namely 70 years. Jeremiah in chapter 25 and again in chapter 29 stipulates 70 years. So, turn on your mental calculator. When did Jerusalem fall and the people of Judah were taken away into captivity? 586. Right. So, subtract 536 from 586 and 50 years. 20 to go. But wait. The way this text is presented, I can't help but wondering if Dan's not thinking, hey, I and a slew of us were taken captive in, when was that? No, 605. Now, subtract 536 from 605. Tick, 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 tick. 67. I mean, can you sense Dan's excitement as he considers, whoa, a couple of years more. I mean, at most a couple of decades, and we're on the brink of something here. And then think of what God's revealed through these dreams and visions. Wow. So, immediately Dan does what? Immediately, he assumes a posture of grief and penitence and prays his heart out. I find it compelling to reflect on the character of Daniel as presented in the text as I listen to him pray. I mean, rather than distance himself from his compatriots, whose self-centeredness and self-righteousness, coupled with their, willful drift into paganism, got him here in the first place. But listen to the pronouns as Daniel prays. He's not standing apart and wagging his finger at them. Daniel's taking an incarnational posture as he identifies with his people. Watch now. We've got to consider the setting, the end of the Babylonian Empire, getting close to the end of the prescribed exile, and we've done that, we've got to consider Dan's concern, what he's praying his heart out about. Well, there's a lot of we and our rulers in this prayer of confession, isn't there? But then the punchline in verse 14, right? Therefore, and he launches into this request for a new exodus. He prays for it. I mean, check out verse 16. Yahweh's city, Yahweh's holy mountain, Yahweh's desolate sanctuary. Look at 9:17. Now therefore, O our God, listen to the prayer of your servant and to the pleas for mercy. For your own sake, O Lord, make your face shine upon your sanctuary, which is desolate. O my God, incline your ear, hear, open your eyes and see our desolations, the city that's called by your name. We don't present our pleas before you because of our righteousness, but because of your great mercy. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, pay attention and act. Delay not for your own sake, O my God, because your city and your people are called by your name. Now, please don't miss this. Beginning with verse 20, it's clear that in direct response to this prayer of confession and concern, Yahweh responds through Gabriel. The stated purpose is what? Verse 22? Was it to confuse Daniel out of his gourd? Was it to obscure any possibility of understanding what's next? The claim is that the purpose was to provide instruction that would lead to insight and understanding. Not sure you can get much better than that. So, let's take a look at the instruction. Verses 24 through 27. Who or what is the instruction concerned with? Verse 24, the stated subject is Dan's people and Dan's holy city, How is the vision of the 77s framed? I put it to you that it's framed as historical and theological. First, the historical. You see, it's placed in time and in space. There's a time frame that commences with the decree to rebuild through the actual rebuilding and then the advent of Messiah the Prince and another prince who is to come and wreak havoc. But the ultimate outcome of this, God's action in this vision is the rebellion's over. Sin's ended. Atonement is accomplished. Everlasting righteousness is ushered in. There's a space factor. The holy city of Jerusalem, where Yahweh had set his name. The sanctuary that provided a tangible reminder of God's glory and God's presence. But there's a theological side to this as well. You notice that it has to do with what God's going to bring about with respect to atonement for sin and establishing everlasting righteousness. The total time is labeled as 70 Shavuot, sevens, comprised of 7 sevens and 62 sevens and then 1 7. Look at verse 25, 27, 24, 25, and 27. Well, another sidebar here. The Hebrews never did refer to the days of the week by the names of pagan gods like Christians do. In Hebrew culture, they just count them off. Yom Echad, day 1, Yom Sheni, the second day, Yom Shlishi, the third day, and so on. For the last day of the week, when they stopped work, they called that Yom Shabbat, the day of stopping or the day of rest. But is Daniel's vision about 70 Sunday through Saturdays? Or should we understand the 70 as 77s of years? Well, Back to the vision. There's a cast of characters, isn't there? The end of the 7 plus 62 is marked by the advent of Messiah, the Prince of Israel, verse 25. And then the Messiah is cut off, verse 26. The city and the sanctuary are destroyed once again, but this time by the people of the Prince who is to come, verse 26. Still later, week 70 occurs, and that's marked by a covenant between the Prince who is to come and Daniel's people, verse 27. This prince causes havoc in the middle of the 70th seven, verse 27. And in the end is a period of great blessing for Dan's people, verse 24. Next session, we'll take a look at that decree. We'll see in a bit.